All right, welcome to the Comedy Mushroom Cult podcast. We've already been talking for too long. It's Ray Roberts, Joe Briggs, Raj Suresh,
How did you forget
living
every
the
fucking
American
name?
dream. Huh?
You forgot it. You were like, it's
What the
oh
rocket
shit,
stuff
who
is-
is it? And you forgot your name and then stumbled through the rest of the names.
He's like,
We're
it's
every fucking
guy
name.
one. There's another guy. There's three guys of some kind.
Dude, fuck off, all right? I'm not going to have the we own this so we can do whatever we want conversation with the people we own this with, all right? If it worked right, we'd be all famous and we wouldn't have to chase down illustrious guests like Raj to get on this for a whole
That's not how this worked. I literally reached out to you guys and I was like, this is hilarious. Can I be in this? Like, what's up?
You didn't reach
You
out
didn't
to
even
you
have to
guys.
do-
You might have reached out to Joe.
I reached
didn't
out to
reach
Joe
out to
and he's
me.
like, yeah. He's like, we're pretty busy. Like, are you free next month? And I was like, who? What? Like, your fucking Patreon's blowing up? Like, help me out here. Why can't I
Hey,
get
how
scheduled
many
for
how many
free?
people do you have on your Patreon, Raj?
I have no patrons at all. So
All right,
that's,
there you go.
Yeah, well, that's
Sorry.
a good.
Also, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I thought for a second you meant you were in town, and I mixed it up with the Winchester. That's why I
Oh.
said next month, because I'm just an idiot.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm in Cleveland, but let's meet up 30 days from now.
So we were talking about the American dream. Let's start
Yes.
with Joe Briggs. Joe, what kind of truck did you get?
I got a Tacoma,
Nice. What year?
2020
Oh,
What company makes it?
Toyota.
Toyota.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just never imagined a truck named Tacoma being made by Japanese people.
yeah, it's hilarious.
Oh,
It's
that's
like
all-
a
it's
walking
Made
very
in the
American.
oxygen.
United States
Yeah.
of America.
It's almost extra American, you know? It's
They
like
try. I used to work for Toyota, and like they lean heavy into like all the trucks being made in America. So like they probably and like the ranch that it was made on, like the Tundra and the Tacoma, they like hardcore lean into it being all American, even though like ISIS,
Mm.
like it's the official truck of ISIS. So
Dude,
it's super rules.
is it seriously? Did I just buy the official truck of ISIS?
Yeah, dude, white Tacomas, bro.
Mine. The color's cement.
That's a
So,
good color.
I don't even know what that means. They should have just said gray.
Yeah, I think they go with like weird, like I'm tired of people calling like steel gunmetal. It's not, nobody makes a fucking gun out of this. The same shit they make a truck out of. Or
Yeah.
maybe they do. It's just, I don't know. I'm not in that industry. So
Dude, going to a dealership with my dad is probably the greatest experience in my life, though. If you ever need to buy anything, just take him with you, because like they'll come out and they'll be like, "This is our rock bottom price," and my dad will look them in their soul and just be like, "Not even close."
dude,
And they'll
take an Indian person with you. As soon as you walk in, the
Yo.
fucking sales people are like, this fucking guy's back again. These people,
Dude,
literally,
it was the worst.
yeah. When I bought my my first car, it was a piece of shit. It was a VW. It was used. The engine had a hole in it somehow. Like 3 years in, I bought it for like 12 grand. I had to like put down all the money I had in the world, essentially, like loan it, get like a loan thing. And then I sold it back 3 years later with the hole in the engine, and they didn't even know about it. They're like, "We'll give you $3,000 for this," and I was like, "This is great." But even then, like my negotiation process was at least 5 days, and then when I bought the Camry, it was like 6 more, and they were like, "You understand? This is as cheap as a car. We can make this car for this price. I can't give it to you any cheaper." And I was like, "Well, how much are you making on it?" The guy was like $200, and I was like, "Yeah, so I need $200 off." So. Yeah, they paid me off to leave.
Yeah, and it was not to like this is going to be a very Indian heavy podcast because
Yes.
I wanted to bring up that when I moved into my apartment, I had to text Raj and be like, "Yo, I need like a crash course on Indians and dogs." So that was
your current
Oh, that's
apartment?
right.
yeah, my current apartment. But I didn't mean for this to go Indian people are weird, but like when I sold cars, like if like an older Indian dude walked in, you're like, this is gonna be an all day ordeal, and
Yeah.
you're not closing this car every single time. And it's not even like it was one of those. Obviously, it's a stereotype, but it wasn't one of those like unfounded ones. It was like, fuck
Yeah, I think it's
that and
fair.
engineers. If you got an Indian engineer, you're not selling a car for 3 days. Like it's just not gonna happen.
What we do is we grind you down as much as we can. Then we walk over to the next dealership that sells the same car, and we're like, that guy Ray over there. After me beating the shit out of him for 5 days, give me this price. Do you want to beat him today without putting any of the work in? And then they're usually like, yeah, I'll match or beat. And that's it. That's how it goes.
Every time. Every single time. And it was great to be the second one because they'd walk in and they'd be like, hey, this guy over here did. It's like, yeah, we can beat it by like $7. And they're like, $7 is $7, man. Like, that's my lunch. Like, here we go. You just got a sale. So, like, it was a good thing to be on the second side of it, but it was bad to be on the first side of it.
You want
Hey,
to be the second best dealership in town.
Dude, the funniest thing I heard my dad ever say was during the negotiations, they were like, well, we can knock off another $400. My dad looked them straight in the face and said, what's $400? I shit $400. You think that's a deal?
Jesus Christ.
And my brother was there too, and we were both like, fuck.
Where did you buy this car?
Brunswick Auto Mart?
Oh, I didn't know if you wanted to like they're fine. They're like big enough that they can suck it up. It's always funny when like when people would come into, because I worked at the one in Kent. I'm not gonna give them free advertising, but like if they would come in, we'd be like, we're a one store dealership. Like we're not gonna do that. And then people would like leave, and then they'd come back with somebody else's price, and we just end up matching it anyways. But back to the American dream. Raj, when are you going to be an American? Now that Joe Biden and Sister Kamala is going, is there like an update on this?
Or some shit? I don't know. I mean, this is why I don't trust the elections at all. Like, none of the choices prioritize me once they're in office. Like, we're really important in the run-up, right? They get all the Indians together. They get Mindy Kaling making a couple ads. Like, shit like that happens. But afterwards, they're just like, oh, yeah. We've just got other things to deal with. So you guys could just wait in line a bit longer. So I've got, like, as it stands right now, I have probably about another 15 years to go before I become a citizen. So
Really?
yes, I will probably, it's going to be like one of those things where you go to prison a young man and then you expect to come out an old man, but they just bury you underneath it. Like it's one of those situations.
Is that something that you can like write your senator about and be like, yo, well, if you're in Arkansas, so you probably have 2 Republican senators, so they probably don't care.
I mean, I don't even know if you can write, insofar as what I understand, immigration is like a world unto itself. Like you need like Melania Trump level good looks or something, you know, in order to, you basically need to be the first lady to pull that off.
How famous do you have to get doing comedy before America's just like, we want him? And then you,
I mean, to give you perspective, they when Jackie Chan applied for his visa for like Rush Hour 1, I think they denied him like the first time around. They're like, you're not famous enough. And then the second time around, I think it worked.
No, the other Jackie Chan show. That's the best part about Sunday morning. It's always more fun when it's a little earlier and like everybody's rolled out of bed and we're like, all right, let's just fucking say some words here.
Yeah.
I just like that I made fun of you for the intro and you were like waiting to get back at me. And then I said one dumb thing and you were like, I'm gonna fuck him.
So at work we have a board now because like we'll just like, because I try not to like bring comedy into like my real job because then I'll get fired. So like I want to like, but people will like try to like roast me or like try to do stuff like that. And then I just have to be like, all right, man, like it's just gonna come up at some point. Like I'm not gonna be able to hold it back. So the guy who sits behind me has like, whenever he gets me with a good one, and I'm like, all right, I can't get you back without like getting fired right now. So like make a note that the next time I get you with one, you deserved it. So now he's got like a little thing where when he's one up on me, he puts it up in his cubicle. So like when I get him just out of nowhere, he knows that it's not like just unfounded. It's retribution. So that's what that is.
He has like a mailbox flag.
Yeah, 100%.
You know when the mail's coming.
We were talking about backyard shows. When are you doing your backyard shows? When is this gonna happen? You're like
Dude,
the
I'm
Dave
down to do it.
Chappelle of like, remember when Dave Chappelle did that block party
Yeah,
documentary
yeah.
thing? Like, is that what you're trying to do at your house?
I just love to have a couple bangers back here, honestly. You know, just get a couple killers and put them on stage, and then get a couple, just get a couple of DJs and some fire people, some fire throwers and stuff. I don't know. I want to have like a backyard party, and I haven't
You
had
you
the chance to do it yet.
you said fire people, and like my first thought was like, oh, cool, there's gonna be firemen there. Like it'll be a safe party. I don't know why. I was like really excited.
I don't even know. I mean, I just want those. I want some. I tried to have a party, but it was just me and a keg. It was like a $70 keg, and I was drinking it myself. Just literally sitting out here all summer doing that. And I don't even know if you should have beer out that long. It was out here for a good 2 weeks, and I was just drinking Blue Moon, like 3 of them a day for 2 weeks straight.
Well, at least it was cold. That's one of the cool things about kegs is like when it's cold, you can just. We bought one of my bosses. We bought him like a pony keg for
Mhm.
Christmas, and he like just kept it on his front porch for like all of winter, and just went out and just had draft beer whenever he wanted. So I think you can do it for a while.
You can get away with it for sure, but I didn't even know how to operate a keg. This is the first time I've ever had to use one because I just, I think I've gone to maybe 2 parties in college where a keg was involved, but the rest of them were run at frats, and they didn't like non-white, so it was mostly a foreign technology to me. Yeah, so I've discovered that $70 is the price of expensive kegged beer, and it's practically useless. I don't know if I want to do kegs again. I'd rather just bust out liquor. I have like a whole box of Fireball. It
So
has like multi-bag pouch thing.
like if you like work the math, are kegs, is that cheaper than buying like the equivalent amount of beer in cans?
It's yes, in cans it's close. In bottles it is. Bottles are more expensive. In cans, like when you factor in like the tap fee and like a trash can and ice and transporting all of it, like cans are
Yeah.
just so much easier.
Yeah, but if you buy like it's a one-time upfront cost for the trash can. Like you can get the
Yeah.
trash can, you can get ice. I mean, you buy your own tap. It's like what, $30 and instead of like the
Yeah.
tap fee. So I mean, then the next time it's way cheaper.
I don't have enough friends to make that kind of investment up front. It's been me. I bought this house as the quarantine kicked off, so it's been me here pretty much this whole time.
Yeah,
Giant party.
let's walk through the timeline because I mean, you probably had one of the most interesting quarantines because you moved to New York like the week of
March 1st.
quarantine. Yeah.
Yeah. me and Matt Shaver. Matt Shaver went to Chicago. He's like, I'm doing Second City. And I moved to the city that never sleeps, supposedly. And they're like, we're just gonna take like a 1.5 year long nap. So thanks for this brokerage fee and your first month security deposit. I ended my lease in the city like in July. It's just like this is pointless. Like New York was a ghost town. And it was like nothing was gonna come back. I remember talking to comics that were like playing the cellar. They're like cellar regulars, and they were like, yeah, probably September this year. And I was like, man, that's a long time. And now it's like April. So I feel like I made a good deal.
When we moved, like we made the decision to move in February. So it was like
To
we
Wisconsin.
knew, yeah, to Wisconsin, but it was like Milwaukee's here. Like we're 15 minutes out of Wisconsin or out of Milwaukee. So it's like Milwaukee has mics every single night. Skyline's an hour and a half away. Madison's an hour away, and Chicago's an hour and a half away. So it's like I have 4 scenes in the area, which I mean, it's not as active as Cleveland, I guess, right now. But like at the time, it was like I have 4 scenes as opposed to like 1.5 hot scenes.
Yeah.
And then like you start hearing the rumblings in February of quarantine, and then like I had a whole bunch of money saved up. And I was like, all right, sick. Like maybe I will like take the summer because I had a bunch of like paid gigs coming up. I was like,
Yeah.
let's see if I can make enough money to cover rent this summer and then maybe just do part-time job after we move. And then literally like 2 weeks after we decided to move, everything shut down. All of my summer ones were like canceled. And
Yeah.
then like even when I got my job here, I was like, all right, sick. the way that it's set up, they will hire you if you get in. They won't fire you for at least 4 months. So I was like, all right, cool. Like I will have 4 months to save money, and then comedy will be back. And then like even if I suck at this job, they'll just like fire me after 4 months. So I'll have enough money to or like enough time to save up. And here we are, like 8 or 9 months into this job, and I'm like, all right, cool. Maybe it'll be back in a year.
Well, if either of you can get down here by the end of April, I know that some of the stuff down here is like, kicking off. But yeah, there's like a tiny, it's not going to cover your flight. Let's put it that way. You'll probably lose money making the trip, but it'll be a fun weekend.
Yeah, because I like just started a new job, so I don't even have like vacation days for like 4 more months.
Yeah, well, plus you went and bought a truck too, so I got to pay that thing off.
Yeah, that was probably a dumb move, but I got excited. That's it.
Dude, it's
I'm
fine.
bad with money and I got excited.
You got to do that shit. I feel like everyone's just had like a weird year, I'm seeing just a ton of people just make decisions they would have never otherwise done.
Yeah.
Like I went and bought a fucking house. Like who does that?
You're telling me to pay off the truck and you're like Casa de la Raj.
Yeah, I'm over here. Yeah, well, I've learned a lot in owning a home, mostly how to like unclog toilets and like how to kill animals that are living in the ceiling.
Wait, so what did you do when you like lived in apartments and the toilets would get clogged? You just leave it?
Call a guy.
Oh,
you know?
Call a guy to unclog your own toilet?
Well, if it's just like a plunger issue, I've never had to be like a serious blockage. I don't know what's up with the toilets in my house. I probably got to upgrade my toilets or just be a little less generous with the TP. Or I got to do that tushy thing that you have,
Yeah, get a bidet, dude.
Dude, you got to do the safety flush. If you're really blowing it up. Yeah, if you're really blowing it up, you hit the flush at the halfway point.
Yeah,
but also, do you have trees around your house? Like big trees anywhere?
No, I have one tree.
Oh, because like we had that at the last apartment that we lived at. Welcome to the dad segment of this week's podcast.
Oh, the trees are choking up the pipes?
Yeah, like the pipe cracked and like the tree got in there and then they had to like clean out the pipe and like fix it. So that could have been it. Or maybe your house just isn't level or something.
Oh, are we doing dad segment?
Yeah, no, we did
dad
this. Segment.
There was a whole a whole bunch of Cleveland comics had like a thing like on Sunday last week where we were just chatting, and it eventually turned to how do you unclog a toilet there as well. So what I've discovered is just I tried an auger, and then the guy was like, "This is not." I eventually had to call a plumber. He's like, "This is for like sinks," and I was like, "Well, how the fuck would I know that?" And he's like, "It says for sinks on the outside of it." It was like this big, and I was like, "Oh, it'll work." Then I went to Dollar General, and they sold me what essentially looks like a long, like comb. Looks like a piece of plastic with some hooks on it.
Oh, for hair?
What nobody tells you is like if it doesn't work, what you're left with is a shit covered stick.
Yeah.
That you have to like walk through your house to the trash can.
Well, you can go to if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, you can rent like a actual snake thing for like $25, I think.
Yeah,
$30.
but then I got a what? So I'm renting a snake that's been down every toilet in America. I would rather
give you gloves.
Yeah, just get gloves. Yeah. Be careful. Like
it's going in a toilet. It's not like going in anywhere else.
This is America, Raj. You think that the American dream is free? All right. Sometimes you got to get covered in your own shit.
Yeah, well, there is that. Dude, I just learned this year. All right, so like you have to have a plumbing budget. Then you have to like pay taxes on a house. It's not just like the price of the sticker. And then you look at like how much you owe the bank. And I did the math. Basically, what I paid for the house, I pay like a time and a half that if I take 30 years to pay this off. And the bank just collects all their money up front, which is bullshit. Yeah. And then I got in on the stock wave with everybody else. And that's another quagmire because you get your money from your employer, which is taxed, and then you put it into the market at great risk to yourself. And if it makes any money, that also gets taxed. And so I'm turning Republican is what I've realized. I'm starting to talk about my lawn a lot. I'm doing woodworking shit on the side. I live in the whitest neighborhood possible. Like one of the dudes that broke into the Capitol literally lives 5 minutes away from here.
No shit.
Yeah, his name's Big O. He lives in Gravette. Gravette is literally where I buy like wood for like projects. So yeah, a lot of Confederate flags in this area.
I love that you moved from Cleveland to New York City, and then when you moved back to Arkansas, you're like, I think I'm turning Republican.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it is, man. I don't think I'm turning Republican. I know that like these are the early days for my people in this area, so we have to like blend in a little bit. I have to ask like the next door neighbors. I have to, you do nice things sometimes. So I just asked to borrow the guy's angle grinder. I didn't really need it, but I was just like, hey, man, like, and then we talked about like what his favorite brand is and all that for like 20 minutes. I did help some people shovel out of their driveway the other day. I have like a snow shovel from living in Cleveland. And they were just like, whoa, this is the one guy in Arkansas that has one of these.
I didn't even think about it. So wait, does it not snow there like at all?
It barely snows here. When it dumps here, like we are usually incapacitated for days on end.
That's actually pretty sweet though. I wish that would happen up here.
We don't have a snowplow budget in the South. So it is what it is. And then like, so explain this to me. Why the fuck, I like how my lawn looks. It's got all kinds of weeds in it apparently, but they're nice colors. They're better than the grass. The grass is the shit part. The grass is all brown. Everything that's supposed to be terrifying is like lush green or purple. So,
Didn't you post that on Instagram like yesterday?
Yeah, I was very confused. And one dude was like, I think we've just been trained to hate it. Like, he's like, well, this stuff will kill your grass. And I'm like, who gives a fuck? It looks better than the grass.
Yeah,
there's like a big online,
flowers.
well, there's a big online movement to like get rid of grass. Like I saw, not a big online movement, but it's like hippie movement or like weird, like communist people who are like, grass is a big waste of spots to like grow tomatoes in your own food. And it's like, yeah, but Walmart also exists. So can we just have a nice lawn?
You go to Walmart for tomatoes?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't shop at Walmart, but
wait, why? Would you not eat a Walmart tomato?
Is it like great value tomato?
I don't know who makes it. It's the biggest tomato I've ever seen for the lowest price. I'm not even
Republican sure Raj is like all about the deal on tomatoes here. He's like, I paid too many taxes for my tomatoes to be small.
Well, this is Walmart. Like Walmart's global headquarters is in this city. That's why there's any minorities, but there's like jobs and stuff here because of that. Like that's why people, I think, that are not from Arkansas live here. That's why eventually, that's the first time I came here was because of that. There was like jobs here.
How come?
It's also
oh, sorry.
What?
How come you moved? Like, so when you decided you were going to leave New York, how come you went back to Arkansas?
Well, I went to Atlanta for a little bit, and then Cleveland as well. And then I finally wound my way back here because like the real estate market here is doing really well, and I know this city, and I kind of know what the neighborhoods are like, and where things are developing. And it's gotten so expensive in the center of town that I can't like reasonably justify like the pricing. That kind of feels a little bubblish. So that's why I live in an area where, like domestic terrorists also live. So,
does that push property values up or down in the South?
Does what go up?
Does living around a domestic terrorist, does that push the property values up or down? Because I could see it going either way. It
means that the values are relatively low, but then like you get like one Indian and then two, and then pretty soon the whole neighborhood is brown. And it's like zero crime, high literacy. It's all these immigrants that like the United States immigration process is really strict. If you look at it, that's why every Indian you meet is either like a doctor, scientist, like a STEM worker of some kind, because that's where the labor shortage in America is. So if you want to come in here, you have to be one of those people. It's not like all Indians just love this line of work. It's just what the dragnet creates. So, and as a result, like Indian centric neighborhoods, I think, tend to appreciate and value.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, even like back in like the 60s, like that's when my dad came to the US from Yugoslavia, and they had to like chill in Salzburg for like 3 years because they couldn't get in. And like the embassy was
always
in
like they
Austria.
always it's like a weird like way to phrase it, but they always send like one or two families, and then it's like, all right, this is where everybody lives. Like in Streetsboro, like there's just like a random like African American neighborhood, because it was like people moved from Cleveland to that neighborhood in the Streetsboro, because they're like, all right, this is a pretty cool neighborhood, we're just all gonna move here. And same thing like in Waukesha, there's like a whole bunch of like Ecuadorians here. Like, and it's just like one family moved up here, and then they're like, all right, everybody seems to be pretty cool, and then like there's just like a whole Ecuadorian neighborhood, and it's just like just random pockets of like actual culture and like weird white spots.
That's literally
Which
Lakewood was like Slavic people. There was like a couple, like my dad's uncle moved here first, and then everyone else was like, that seems like a pretty cool place to go, and they just came.
have you guys seen The Devil of Seven Hills or whatever that thing is on Netflix?
The Devil of Seven, yeah, that's like, dude, that's like 3 streets away from where I grew up.
Of course it is. Great.
Seven Hills is right next to Parma, where I grew up.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah,
Nazis.
see, now I don't feel so bad. You're like, why would you settle in Arkansas? Well, there were Nazis living in Cleveland as well. Let's put this into perspective.
I mean, there's Nazis everywhere. Have you guys seen God, what was the fucking show? It was on Amazon like right when quarantine started. It's like off the comic book. Fuck. It's like the guys who are like the Nazi hunters, like it's like a Jewish squad of Nazi hunters.
Yeah.
Oh, it's literally called Hunters, dude.
Hunters. Okay,
yeah.
there it is. Yeah, sorry. But like that was like the whole point of that show. And it's like a real thing, like where they just like went around and like found all the Nazis that like we basically
Yeah.
paid to come to our country and like run the country for us. Like your boy from NASA. Like NASA was like run by Nazis.
Otto
That's how
von
we
Bronner,
got to the
right?
moon.
Whatever his name is. Yeah. What's his name? Otto van something. Bronner?
Werner von Braun.
Yeah.
I knew it. I was close.
That was good. I would agree. I was agreeing with you. I was like, that he got it. It's like I didn't know.
Right. It's the guy
Like,
you
remember
thought
that Jake Gyllenhaal movie, like where they're in the middle of nowhere making rockets, and his like hero is Werner von Braun, and then like you grow up and you're like, oh shit, like Jake Gyllenhaal was just like a super big Nazi sympathizer through that whole movie.
I'm
Hey,
pretty
speaking
sure
of the Gyllenhaals, so I went online because I was watching The Dark Knight Rises, and I was like, surely I'm not the only person of the opinion that Maggie Gyllenhaal is fucking terrible in this movie. Like they could have
She's
cast
the worst.
anybody else.
she's so bad.
Katie Holmes was way better.
Katie Holmes was not great. And they said, you know how we
Yeah.
can make this better? Put somebody worse in this role. Instead.
Yeah.
They could have literally gone with anybody else. I would have taken, I don't know. I don't know. I would have taken Tim Dillon in that role.
I'm not a Katie Holmes fan, and she was way better than Maggie Gyllenhaal in that role.
But she
Yeah,
wasn't
anyway.
good.
It just really annoyed me that like such a great movie with arguably like a pretty good cast. Aaron Eckhart was kind of cringy at moments.
Yeah.
Christian Bale with that voice was a little whatever. Keith Ledger kills it. And then Maggie Gyllenhaal is like, why are you in this? Like none of
But
this is believable.
Even Gary Oldman kills it as
Yeah,
Commissioner.
Gary
Gordon.
Oldman is great.
Yeah.
Well,
Some
the
of
worst
these
part
dudes,
is
I don't
like
even know are British.
every Maggie Gyllenhaal, like she's a good actress. Like she didn't hit that role. Like she's in A Stranger Than Fiction is one of my favorite movies, and it's like a Maggie Gyllenhaal like helps carry that movie. But like every single time that she would be on screen, or like even like that big one where she's like at the fundraiser and the Joker's like, oh, she's so pretty, and you're like, I mean, of all the things that you can say about Maggie Gyllenhaal, like, I don't think like they had to like shoe in.
That's what I wasn't going down that channel. I wasn't saying she was ugly. I was just saying that she's not. There's the moment where like the factory or whatever blows up, and she's like, "Hey, just listen. I just want you to know. I just need you to know." And then everything blows up, and I'm like, "You got rid of the right one. Thank God, she's gone."
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying that she's ugly either. I'm just saying that every scene that she's in doesn't need to be a reminder that Maggie Gyllenhaal's not ugly. Like it was every scene. They're like, "You're so pretty," and it's like, did your agent write this page of dialogue for you?
Dude, the one thing that bothers me about like this is like about how she just is as an actress, but every time she's like talking, she has like puppy dog eyes. She looks like a kid that's like, "Can we please get ice cream?" in every fucking scene. And like once you notice that, you can't unsee it. Like she just looks the way her face is when she's acting stresses me out.
I just want to know how Batman's suit armor is strong enough to stop a bullet, yet also flexible enough that they can dive 80 feet off the edge of a building and into the top of a cab, and it completely cushions the impact of her body against his. Like no broken ankles, like you landed perfectly on top of his body. Just annoys me, the physics of it.
The thing that gets me is like how many concussions? How many before he can't think straight?
Yeah, it's probably not many. I mean, he locked himself into a Vietnamese prison in the first movie.
Yes.
I mean, he was stealing his own company's whatever goods just so he could beat up bad guys. And it's like, why'd you just beat up the guys that you were stealing shit with? You know? I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of
Don't
those
ask me.
stories that like and everybody wants to point out, like he's literally a billionaire who controls an entire city, and instead of like investing in any sort of like minor sort of like infrastructure, he's like, I'm just gonna spend all this money on a suit and beat up petty criminals and then wait for like one real bad guy to show up. That's gonna be my thing.
I was always just waiting for like the subplot of Lucius Fox and Alfred like having a relationship. I don't know if that's in the movies, but there's a moment in one of the movies where he walks out, or he walks like Batman leaves the room, or Bruce Wayne I think leaves the room, and the one guy Lucius is like Alfred, and Alfred's like Lucius. And I was just like, oh okay, I could see this going somewhere.
So do they not like each other? Do you like what is
No,
that like
they're
the
just
buddy
like,
cop
you
movie?
know, no, they're both helping their friend Bruce, and you know, maybe in the process of doing so, they both find things in common that they admire about each other in their joint pursuit of justice. They're part of a justice triangle that then turns into a great relationship. I don't know why they didn't write that in. It would be a very inclusive angle that, you know, would also develop character arcs for older, like they're both older men that are just like in the seat of power. You drop either one of these guys and Batman is done for.
So you guys have seen the movies, right?
Yeah.
No, Joe.
So the third, okay, right. Whatever.
We just did an
I'm a lot
in-depth
nicer than you.
conversation
Like, yeah,
about it for 10 minutes.
And I'm like, oh, so they've seen it. But at the end of the last Batman movie, when like Bruce Wayne is in Paris with Catwoman, and like Alfred sees him, or he's in like Italy maybe, but like Alfred sees him and he just smiles. If that would have been the point for Lucius just to come up and put his arm around Alfred, and we'd be like, oh, everybody wins.
Yeah, I'm not even shitting you. Like, I actually think it would be like a good like add to the. I'm not like just like making a joke. I'm legitimately saying, cut Maggie Gyllenhaal out. Give me the Alfred Lucius story. I'm way happier.
Yeah,
Also,
I would be too.
Marion Cotillard dying. Is that how you pronounce her name? The French lady who plays Talia al Ghul. Her dying. Have you ever seen that? Like, it gets parodied so much because she does it so badly. Like, you should cut that in, like right here. Just her.
Yeah, let me get our let's get our editing skills like perfect on this. But yeah, they just do a bad job. Like what's her face? Anne Hathaway is the best actress in like that trio of movies.
It's
and
not
even
close, too.
But like she's again not like that great of a role for her. Like, and she's a good actress. Like I like her in other movies, but like she's just so over the top on it. Like I don't is Christopher Nolan just not good at female actresses or female actors, I guess?
I think he hands them like a comic book and he's like, do it like it is in the books. And the only character that really works for is the Joker because he is so over the top. You know? Jared Leto's Joker, I think, would have been good, but they cut a bunch of it out of the movie.
Yeah, well, because isn't like the lady from the third Batman? She's the one that's in Inception as well, right? It's the same person.
Yeah.
So
it's
like even
wife,
she, yeah, like she's like it's just a very I don't know. It's always like every female's like overly whispery or has to be like super loud in all of his movies. I don't get it.
In Chris Nolan movies?
Yeah.
Was
I thought he did a good job
movie?
with like Interstellar doesn't have that, right?
It's Anne Hathaway.
Jessica Chastain does a good job. What's that?
He just got Anne Hathaway again, right? In Interstellar, that's
yeah, she is in Interstellar. She was good in Interstellar.
That's a good movie, but then you've got Matthew McConaughey to be outrageous to make up for everybody else. Like compared to Matthew McConaughey, everybody's a great actor.
I know, but like he definitely found Anne Hathaway, and he was like, "I finally found a good actress," and then you used her again.
My problem is with that movie, if the fate of fucking humanity is resting on our shoulders, and I've just abandoned my child to be part of this mission, and you fly us to a planet with no chance to get some dick, I'd be furious. I would abandon you right there. I'd be like, "That's it. I'm gonna go save humanity myself. You're useless. Give me the robot. You can hang out here with Matt Damon." abandon both of them immediately. I'd be like, are you serious? You know what? You repopulate this barren rock of ice. I'm gonna go figure out what Earth needs. I'm gonna use my Texan skills and my marriage to Penelope Cruz and everything I've learned from that, and figure out what we need to do to sustain humanity. Probably
But
have
on the
6,000
opposite,
children.
you've got Anne Hathaway flying away from Earth to hang out with Matthew McConaughey, and Matt Damon's just out there. Like, why? Like, there's not two better male humans to repopulate any other planet than those two. Like, could you imagine that's who you want to repopulate the Earth with?
Matthew
I get
McConaughey.
that, but
That's your first round draft pick?
Or Matt Damon. I would pick Matt Damon over Matthew McConaughey.
You wouldn't take like Obama or like somebody like your first round draft pick is.
Obama's got a wet jumper, but he's not like as handsome as Matt Damon.
He was the president though.
Yeah.
We
found out anybody can be president, like with the right amount of money. That's what we literally just found out.
Oh, you're right.
Oh man, it's still kind of weird. Like I still see. I don't know if he's banned from Twitter or not, but if you ever go up to people on the street and you're like, "Hey, do you think he'll come back?" They always know who you're talking about. You don't have to say his name. Like he's like a fucking, I don't know, like a super villain. You're just like, you think like, what do you think's gonna happen in like 2 years? Like you think he's gone forever, or it's like I feel like I live in Gotham and we're just waiting for like Godzilla or the League of Shadows or something to come back.
That is, and where I mean, because Wisconsin, like, it went blue this last election cycle, which was like kind of weird. But I mean, our governor's Democrat. But like, I work at like the spot that I work at, people are wearing like Trump face masks to work still, like months.
Which is like an oxymoron.
Yeah, but it's so funny because like my big thing is like, one, why would you want another person's name on your face? Like, no shade to like a certain Cleveland comedian who still wears like the Chappelle mask like every other day. I wouldn't want another.
I love that Chappelle logo though. I get why.
So do I, but I don't want another grown man's face or like name on my face. Like make your own, or like wear a blank one. Like you're getting free advertising, and it's another grown man's name on your face.
You're saying this right now, but like a party is like, it's a good idea, and in like 2 weeks we're gonna see who is Ray Roberts. Your merchandise
is gonna have WIRR.
Yeah,
you literally.
I'm not selling face masks.
Who is Ray Roberts on your chest? And you're like,
I would have if I was selling. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I wear my own shirt. That's why I made a shirt. But like, I'm not gonna make face masks because those are gonna go away soon. Vaccine's out.
Yeah. I think we're in like the I don't know, the closing stages of lockdown quarantine. I hope so. At least.
Hope
so. In Arkansas, we have a vaccine surplus. Like we have so many that we're literally like, we have hundreds of these going bad every day. Like, does anyone want them? Why are you guys
so bad?
Like,
I might just come to Arkansas to get the vaccine.
Literally fly down. There's an appointment tonight if you want it. Like wear a mask, get on a flight. Like there's no. I think they open it up to 1C or whatever. It's open to. Are you a veteran? No, you're not.
Not even close.
Yeah. Well, they opened it up, and I know that there's vaccine doses that go bad here every day.
Damn it.
Well, and that's like, so like I got it because I'm like on like the first tier of essential workers up here. But it's just because I like work in one of the biggest corporations in the state. But it's like, but the weirdest part of the vaccine too is I just think everybody's done with COVID. Like it's not even like COVID's not real. Like obviously people are still dying from it, but everybody's just like, whatever. Like nobody still knows what's going on. Even like when they say you get the vaccine, they're like, you can hug your friends and family if you're both vaccinated and wearing a mask. And you're like, well, then what the fuck does the vaccine do? Like, what are like at this point, what are we doing?
Just made Raj do a spit take. That's amazing.
Oh God, dude! I just had coffee come out my nose.
If I can't if I can't open mouth kiss strangers, what's the point of the vaccine?
Well, see, I knew I had to leave New York when they were like, guys, we strongly advise against group sex, but if you're gonna do it, glory holes are the safest way. That was the point. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'll see you guys later. I gotta leave this party. I don't know what.
Well, then California is so wild that like they're still yelling at people for not wearing masks while you're driving by yourself, and it's like, all right, like we can't have
Seriously?
Like there can't, yeah. Like, well, Chris
Windows
Clem
up?
posted something, and he's like, it was talking about Jay Leno, and they were like maskless on a fire truck, and it's like, come on, bro, he's by himself, away from everybody. Like in a fire truck is as far away from somebody as you can be. You don't need to wear a mask outside, and it's like you can't have the two biggest spots. Like, yes, they have the most population, but like they have like the worst time, like controlling everything. And then you go to the middle of America and people are like, yeah, man, we've like fucking Church's Chicken has been open the whole time. Like you can come like up here, you can like they've never shut down restaurants. Like you could go there and eat, and like the cases are on par with everywhere else. Like it doesn't make sense.
The difference for things down here is we are like, when you talk about social distancing, everybody here has a car for the most part, right? There's no public transport. Like the actual amount of land that you have between yourself and your neighbor is sizable. So the only time you really are forced to interact is like in a grocery store, you know? So versus like New York, where to go inside the subway, like
Yeah.
you're going to be touching a surface that a million people have touched today. And I was honestly stunned. Like I got COVID like probably 2.5 months ago, versus like I'd lived in New York the whole fucking time. Nothing ever happened. Either that or I had it right at the start. I don't know. But I got it and I had a day of bad headaches. And since then I've had like recurring headaches. But aside from that, I'm as strong as I've ever been. Like I've run my fastest mile time. Like I don't know what's happened. My beard is growing at an incredible rate. Like whatever was inside this thing, I think I just got lucky. I'm probably got like one of those international strains in like a Spider-Man type situation.
I didn't expect that turn where you're just like, if anything, it made me stronger.
I'm not even lying to you. Like I don't know whether it just, I don't know. Yeah.
When I had it, it literally it knocked me out for like a good 3 weeks. Didn't have the chest stuff, but I had like the muscle aches so bad.
Oh really?
Yeah,
It
I
knocked
took the
me out
trash
for a
out
couple
one day.
weeks. Yeah, like the like breathing sucked, walking for more than like 5 feet sucked. But then
Yeah.
like it was one of those like I was glad that I got it like as early as I did, because then I was like, oh, I can like survive. Like it's inconvenient and it sucks and I can see how people die from it. But it was like,
Yeah.
all right, like I'm not gonna be afraid of it anymore. And then it was like, oh shit, you should probably like get your life together so like you don't die from not being able to breathe by being too fat. So like it was one of those like, oh, this is like a good let's get our life together like story here.
Yeah, I don't know. So like in India, they've actually done a pretty good job of containing it / lying about the results. So I don't know which one it is, but for a country of 1.5 billion, we're showing a very suspiciously low rate. I mean, I've been to India. I'm like, there's no way, guys. You know?
Yeah, India's like pretty densely populated, right?
Yeah, India's
Yeah.
a third of the size of the U.S. with 4 times the population. And if you think the U.S. is not obedient, watch Indian people drive. Like we don't give a fuck. We don't care about traffic lights on a normal day. You think we care about? I don't know. Anyway, it got to a point. I do think Indian police are a little more like, they have fewer guns, but like more license to just randomly beat people for no reason. So there was a point at which when people walk in outside without masks and stuff, the cops were just laying into them with batons. So, and they were filming it and putting it on social media. So I think everyone like learned pretty quickly, like, hey, like we got to keep a distance. And then the second part too is like, so in India, like India is like the vaccine production hub for the world.
Oh shit! Right.
Yeah, like most vaccines, remdesivir, all that stuff that they were like saying was like the COVID cure in the beginning. It's made there, and like it's made for literal pennies. Like the same treatment in the US, I think there's a drug called Sovaldi. It's like $12,000 for the regimen, and it like cures hepatitis C from people if they have it. And the same thing in India is like it's under $100 for the entire regimen. So I'm like, you know, like I don't know. I think that's like both those things have helped India contain it a little bit. But
So how are they? I always wonder, like, when it's a country like India and they're producing a lot of like the medicine, are they getting a majority of the doses too? Or are they just shipping those to like other countries?
I think a lot of it gets shipped away, man.
That's wild to me.
Yeah, it is. Like in my head, if I'm, you know, the Indian government, I do think they prioritize some doses and then they give other countries like a quota. But the question I always have is, if the shoe were on the other foot and the U.S. was producing most of these vaccines, would they be shipping 50% of it out and keeping 50% of it here? It'd be like, until every American has one, nobody else gets anything. So
And then even once America was like done getting all the vaccines, they'd still be a dick about it for like 6 months.
Yeah, I think there's definitely competitive advantages to be had for economies that can restart. Like if you're the first in the world, although right now it doesn't matter, because no matter what you produce as a country, there's a fucking ship blocking a canal. And
That
no
is
one
my
can get
favorite
through.
story. And like, it's so, I saw it at the beginning of last week when it first started, and they're like, yeah, this is costing like $3 billion a day because this thing's there. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh, this might take months to get this fucking
Yeah.
ship out of here.
That's why we need superheroes. That's why we need the Hulk.
I
Yeah.
imagine the captain of that ship, when he starts to realize that it's turning sideways, is like frantically like trying to turn it back. He's like, guys, and everyone's asleep. He's got to like wake them all up, and then next thing you know, he's like lodged sideways in the fucking Suez.
But what he needs
I've
one
been-
person from Cleveland to be like, you got to steer into the skid.
I've been in the Suez Canal. I think it's the Suez Canal. So you sail into it, and then they like pull one side of it up, so it's a lock, and they pull one side of it up, and then they float the water to the level of the other side, and then you can sail through or some shit like that. I don't remember how it works, but I remember being on that boat, and there's about 1 foot of a gap between you and the wall on each side. So I can see how that guy got stuck, because the dudes that built it were like, ships will never get any bigger, right? And they just like went home for the day. They're like, this is the maximum size it'll ever be. And then we started putting floating hotels on the water so Floridians can go and see the Caribbean for 5 seconds.
Well, and that's like, you see, like, that's why car bases are like as wide as they are, is because like when they first made like the first roads, they're like, well, we can't just make roads bigger, so we need to make cars as wide as like horse and buggy tracks. And instead of just being like, hey, how about we make this road bigger, let's just make everything the same size as it was 300 years ago.
Man, I don't know how the fuck we've gotten to where we're at, you know? Like money's not even real anymore. That's so many things changed this year. I need to buy Bitcoins. Yeah, I think, well, that's maybe the only major change.
Need to buy Bitcoins.
Yeah.
Were you big into the Dogecoin thing?
No, so like crypto, I don't know enough about cryptocurrency. And Dogecoin or Dog, no one knows how to fucking pronounce it. Is it Dogecoin? Whatever it is.
I know I made
I have no idea.
$100 off of it in like 3 days, and then I got out because I was like, there's no way this isn't a scam. Like, I'm gonna take my $100 and
it's
go
all
away.
speculative. Yeah, it's all just people trading super speculative alt currencies, altcoins, and it's like forex trading, which is some of the most difficult trading you could do. I knew that like growing up, like trading currencies is not easy. Like it's much easier to trade a company versus a currency because it's less. You know the factors influencing it. So I've been investing since maybe 2013 at a very small level and then growing it, but it's been mostly Tesla stock for like a good like 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 85% of all the money that I made on every paycheck went into Tesla stock, and people thought I was a fucking lunatic.
Well, and that's like the big thing with like the crypto part of it is, as soon as because everybody's like, this is the currency of the future. And like they'll be like, the American dollar is all based off of like what our belief in it. Money's not real. But like, as soon as we stop making like Bitcoin have an American dollar value, that's when I'll believe it. Like, since everything is like based off like every like NFTs, like crypto, all of them have an American dollar value. And it's like, how are you going to say this is the currency of the future and still use like the currency of now to value it? Like, you would have to give up completely on the rest of it.
No, but that's only because we live in America and trade in America. So like if you're Indian, you can buy Bitcoin, you trade rupees for it. So like
but
the benchmark,
it's like based off of like the regular currency. Like there's still, you know what I mean? You still have to use regular currency to get crypto.
Yeah, I think everyone just pays like the world is pegged to the dollar since like World War II.
Yeah.
But I think what people forget is in the 30s, like, you know, the dollar wasn't worth a ton. Maybe I'm thinking of this wrong. But like, wasn't the
I
Secret
believe
Service?
you, like, without a doubt.
I also
So.
said some guy's name was Otto van Bronner, even though it was like, what is it? Warner Brothers.
Von Braun.
But I was like, I'm in. That sounds like a Nazi. Count it.
So I don't know. I think the things that will change next, I think supply chains will change a ton in this next 5 years. You're going to have essentially, like, if you look at the Tesla model, he's got Starlink satellites, he's got driverless autonomous vehicles. So you can essentially take a product from point A to point B with no driver, minimal supervision, any time of day or night, and literally drive a truck at like a safe speed that can see ahead of itself with like LiDAR technology and stuff. So I think that's probably going to be the biggest change we see. Anyway, this is a great comedy podcast.
It doesn't have to be comedy. Like that's like, this is, so I had I'm going to just throw Steve Guy's name out there because like, this is the conversation that we had yesterday, is because like, this was originally going to be like, we'll pick a cult and then like steal one of their rules and then like make our own cult out of it. And then it was like, both me and Joe were just like we're missing out on like actual like interesting conversations by trying to like force this to go one way. So like, yeah, it's interesting. Right. We've covered 400 interesting things. Like driverless trucks is going to affect the entire world because like one of the biggest, not to make it focus on white males, but one of like the biggest occupations for white males over 30 is truck driver. So as soon as you take that job away, like then you're going to have a giant section of crazy white people again.
You know, there's a bunch of actually really good Indian food places and gas stations around the U.S. because the guys that own the restaurant are also part of like a trucking family. Like Indians are entering trucking in the U.S.
I had no idea about that. That's awesome.
Evansville, Indiana. If you ever head through there, really good spot. I forget what it's called. I think it's called the Tiffin Stop or something like that. But it's literally a gas station.
Evansville, Indiana is the RV capital of the world.
RV capital?
Yeah, RVs. I believe it's Evansville.
Oh,
like
RV.
I worked in RVs for like 3 months at the beginning of the pandemic. And like right before I moved, and like I drove through, that's like where all of them are made. And then when we moved over here, we like drove by, I think it's Evansville, and it's like they have like the RV like museum there.
So have you guys driven through like Southern Ohio?
Well,
I used to live
like
I used to live in Dayton, so like kind of by Cincy, so I'd always have to go south. But I think it's by Dayton, but like there's an RV salesman store. And it's like the dude's name is literally Tom Raper. And it's like Tom Raper's RVs. And it's like, change your name.
It's closed now. Anthony Savat has like a very good Don Raper joke. And like the whole thing is like when people would come to the US, they'd be like if somebody's last name is Smith, they were like a blacksmith. If like their name was like Johnson, like they were John's son. So to get the last name of a Raper, like your family had to be up to something.
Oh God.
Like
he was probably into fencing. Okay.
Defensive.
Fencing. That's what he's in. He probably made
fencing.
That's probably that's what his family was into. Isn't that what the blade is called? Like a rapier?
Yeah, but it's like that's got an I in it. This didn't have. This was RAPER.
I'm trying to give Donald the advantage of like the etymology that I know. Okay, I don't.
Give Donald the benefit of the doubt. Dude's been in Arkansas too long. He's just Team Donald. Anybody?
It's not that bad down here. I'm not like when I say I'm turning Republican, I don't let blindly just back anything red. I'm still like, people forget I'm still brown and look like this. I could be whatever. I could have whatever views. They're still gonna treat me with the way they see me. Man.
It's like when somebody moves from like I had this a professor in college who like was from like Russia, but like she was like Cold War Russia. So when she moved to the US, like leaned hard like into like alt-right stuff because she's like, I can see where this country's going by being democratic and like saying that we're gonna be like fucking Russian if we like give people healthcare and shit. So like it makes sense that like somebody from another country who would come over and be like, all right, I think like we should vote for everything to be free. Like it makes sense.
Yeah, every Indian I know shows up and is just like, yeah, no, give us that shit. We're like, we don't want the guns, but like give us, socialized healthcare, or at least make medicine cheaper.
Well, the healthcare is the one that like I just started a new job, so I'm working 40 hours a week, but I don't get healthcare for 3 months.
Oh, really?
Trial period? Yeah. I'm like, how can you do like that? Makes no sense to me how you can legally be able to do that.
A trial period of what? Like
we don't want to take like 90 days.
You should die.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have to be like real safe for 3 months.
What's your new gig? You're in data analytics, right?
I did taxes now.
Oh, you switched from data to taxes?
Yeah, I actually did taxes before, so I went taxes, data, taxes.
Dude, I might need your help filing taxes for the year.
I'll bring my W-9s with me next week. We'll sit down and do my taxes. That'll be
it's corporate tax. It's like corporate tax, so it's not. I can barely do my own taxes actually.
Good.
Savat's a tax guy. Just reach out to Savat and tell him you need your taxes done. He'll get to it eventually.
I just use TurboTax.
Well, that's what he does anyways.
Yeah. Like I legitimately need like some kind of like a shady person.
Yeah, that's Savat. He's got an like when before they got rid of like
the name of the guy who's doing shady work for me.
No, he's not shady, but he'll like. I mean, no, like 10 people. Yeah, who cares? 10 people listen to this, but like, but he was like, because it all falls on you anyways. Because like he makes sure it's like in an email. He's like, hey, they're getting rid of like the Obamacare credit. Do you want to like say that you didn't have insurance for a month? Because like if they audit you, like you'll have to pay for like that month or whatever. And if you don't, like then they're not going to audit you because this was like when Trump got in and was going to get rid of like the requirement or you had to like pay the penalty. So I was like, yeah, fuck it. Like if they're not going to audit it, like, give a shit. Huh?
Does he defend you in an audit?
I don't know. It's like under the table. Like he does most of it like through like he makes sure because he's got an MBA. So like he's like that's part of his thing.
George Bush had an MBA. He bankrupted an oil company.
That's because like his family owned it. Like that's different. Like so that's like actually smart.
Yeah. Okay, I believe that.
But he like sets it up in a way like I'm pretty sure he protects himself in it where it's all on me, always. Which is fine. That's what I want in a tax person. I want just shady enough that they do what I tell them, but also aren't going to go down with my shady tax practices.
The way to yeah, I guess so.
Allegedly, of course, since this is being recorded.
Allegedly.
Yeah, man. No, you guys got to come down whenever. This is the world's #1 biking capital. Do you know that? For like mountain bikes and that kind of deal.
You got rattlesnakes?
We have copperheads, but not rattlesnakes.
Is that a bad snake?
Have copperhead or rattlesnake?
I don't think a copperhead is a rattlesnake, is it?
I don't know. This is the first time we have to have our producer look it up.
We have. Who's the producer? Are you the producer?
Kevin.
Oh. Yeah, well, I think we have cottonmouths and we have copperheads. I think they're both vipers, but I don't think they're rattlesnakes because they don't have a rattle.
You are correct.
Can they kill you? That's what I want to know. I don't care if I can hear them coming.
They can both kill you. And I think copperheads are pretty aggressive at that.
How dangerous is a copperhead? The North American copperhead is a common species of venomous snake found in the eastern and central United States. Luckily, their venom is not among the most potent, and bites are rarely deadly. Children, the elderly, and immunocompromised people are at risk. So copperheads are the COVID of snakes.
Get your vaccine, you'll be good against copperheads.
like they're inconvenient and they'll shut down a country, but like it's not the worst thing to happen.
Man, we see snakes in India all the time. I'm not scared. Right now, I have rabbits in the yard. I'm literally about to release a snake out here just to keep them out.
Snakes or rabbits and dogs. What's with mammals in India, man? Like you don't like domesticated mammals?
Well, dogs in India are feral, which is why most Indians are like probably a little bit shy when Americans show up with this. Plus, they're not the cleanest animals, right? Like they will lick themselves in the asshole and then you in the mouth, like back to back. So
That's
I
the
don't know.
same thing my dad says. That's the exact same thing my
They're
dad
not
says.
clean. And so I think it's both of those things. Like most Indians don't have pets in the home. And when you do, like it's like wow, you know. I asked my mom, I was like, hey, can we get a dog? And she's like, well, we have your father. And she said it so quickly that she's like, yeah, just play with your father. I was like, wait, what? No, I said, oh.
But that was like one of the most wild texts I ever had to like send. Is like, I'm like, I was talking to my girlfriend. I was like, yeah, I don't think Indians like dogs. Like, I think that's what the problem is. And then she's like, that's racist. And I had to like be like, all right, like this is going to be very uncomfortable for me to send because like I don't want Raj to have to answer all of my random Indian people questions. But I was like, all right, man, like what's up with this dog thing? And he's like, yeah, they just don't like them. Like it'll be okay. It's like, all right, cool.
We're not big fans. We're fans of like animals that don't make sense. You know, like snakes.
Birds.
Like, so in India, if you see a termite mound, generally people won't break it. Like they won't, because snakes go and live on them. Like a snake will go into a termite mound and eat the termites and then live in there and then eat the rodents and stuff like that. Like my great grandma, we have a very small farm like by the water. And so on it, there's like 2 dogs, a cat, there's a snake, there's a water buffalo. Like no one kills anything. And the snake is good because it gets rid of like rats and rodents and stuff. And sometimes, you know, intruders as well. So not the worst thing to have around.
Wow. I would have never, yeah. If there was like a termite mound in my backyard, I'd be like, let's fucking go. It's go time.
What, like go burn it down?
Yeah.
No, you got to do that cool shit they do online where they like melt steel down or like aluminum and pour it down the mound. So like it gives you like that cool shit.
Yeah. They like essentially like die cast using the ant tunnels in the ground. They pour molten aluminum into it and murder an entire colony of ants to get a piece of shit looking art.
Yeah, it's a real bummer because like the ants need to be there, but I mean it looks cool, like, and it looks cool online. Got to do it for
they
the cloud.
basically are like, you know what Pompeii was like for human beings, this massive tragedy. Let's do that so we can make a piece of table art. Yeah,
but think of how many views that'll get.
I think that's what people get wrong about like India a lot. They're like, oh, you guys worship cows. And it's not really that. It's like we worship the sacredness of life in general, unless it's like children in sweatshops, in which case we're just like, no, we need to make shoes for white people. So religiously speaking, that's generally where we've like, so it's not just cows, it's snakes, it's everything. Like it'd be hard pressed to find like devout Hindus at least that are into eating meat, or at least all kinds of meat. Like most people won't eat beef, or some people don't eat, like some people are pescatarians. I'm entirely vegetarian. Yeah. So I think that's what's going on with India.
I think that's our rule. Is it's not just cows.
Yeah.
Well, I just wish more people here were like that, because I like never understand when people go like deer hunting and they don't like eat the deer. They're just going hunting to kill something. That always like blows. That was like, I was always unsettled by that. I never understood it.
Like, well, I don't know if it's true or not. I'm guessing it is, but they say that like deer are kind of like vermin. You know? Yeah, all these fucking deer are getting in the way of our Toyota Tacomas, trashing our fucking trucks up. So they go out there and
get like trichinosis and stuff. Like they transfer diseases a lot if there's a bunch of them. But like, also like those people who just go and kill them for no reason. Like deer meat's actually real good for you too. Like, so like people who just go and like kill them just for like the head, those are assholes. But like the people who eat it, like, no, it's good. Rogan. Like I grew up, like my dad was a hunter when I was growing up.
Yo, deer meat and elk meat's great. Have you tried DMT? I don't know, man. I mean, when I think about like, you look at rates of like Alzheimer's, right? And there's 3 things that most populations that have that occurrence, that rate of that incidence rate being higher, they are all like grain heavy diets, meat eating populations, and they drink a lot of alcohol. Like those are the 3 things I think in common. And in India, we have like a reduced rate, or again, maybe like with COVID, we just don't track this shit. Like we're still in that era where just like, yeah, they're just, you know, older.
Yeah.
Some people just forget stuff. It's like, no, they don't have to, not as much. But we have turmeric in most of our food. And I think that goes a long way. And like, you know, that's like a recent invention. People are eating like turmeric pills in America, which is the strangest thing. You can grow turmeric. It's not that hard. Yeah. So we grow it on the farm back at my great grandma's spot. Like it grows naturally in the ground. You don't have to try to grow it. You'll also see like animals will chew nutmegs that have fallen from the trees because they get like a buzz from it. And sometimes you'll see people doing it too.
That was a kid I went to high school with, would like smoke nutmeg. Like that's just what he would do, because like weed was illegal, and like he said like he would just like take a whole bunch of nutmeg and then roll it into a joint and smoke nutmeg.
And it would get him high?
Apparently.
Yeah, it gives you a little kick. I don't know how that works. But that's what people like when you see people stealing from fields and orchards and stuff, that's what they're there for. Nutmeg is expensive. And you can sell it for a very pretty penny. Same thing with coconuts, man. I remember we sold coconuts from that farm for 3 rupees a pop. So a rupee is like, that's like 1/60th of $1, maybe. So what is that? Not even 20 cents?
Yeah.
No, not even 2 cents. No, my math is terrible.
Yeah, it's like
Whatever
a cent and a half.
It's very low.
Again, I just agreed with you blindly. I was here for the ride.
Anyway, Otto van Bronner was the head of NASA. But like you would see that 3 rupee coconut when it's sold on the street for the water is 30 rupees, and then when you process it for oil, it's like 1,000, you know, or whatever, 300. So yeah, I'm tired of America slowly catching on to Indian things that we've been doing forever, and then cutting all the Indian people out of the business end of it and being like, do you want to taste ghee and do yoga? So shut the fuck up. Like, please, like ghee, you can make ghee out of any asshole stick of butter that you buy in the store. Just boil it the fuck down.
You want to make Raj real mad? This is like chai tea. I could legitimately, like, I don't know. It gets me upset because like what you're drinking is bullshit. It's not even the real thing. 0 Indians involved in the supply chain. The other day I saw an Indian company that's launching a non-pizza, right? So it's like Indian flatbread pizza. I couldn't have been more proud. I was like, this is how we take this country back. We take our culture back. We're going to invade and like bastardize Italian cuisine. And then they'll feel our pain. That's the most American shit ever, though. Like that, like taking something, making it slightly worse, and making a bunch of money off of it that's exactly what this country is good for.
But it's not even. I mean, I don't know, dude. It's not even. It's not a little bit worse. The chai that you get at Starbucks is trash. It's a garbage product, and I don't know. I'm literally getting like my fucking ECG machine is probably gonna break here in a second on my iWatch. I don't have any of these things. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but I'm pissed off because I don't know why.
This dude, the first time that I met him in person, I go to this dude's house and he makes me homemade chai. Like, and it was 1, the best chai I've ever had. 2, like the best, like just like somebody invites you to their house and then just like makes you anything is always great. And 3, like it was one of those like, oh shit, like I have to say yes regardless, because if not, I'm rude. And it was like one of those like it was great because he made homemade chai. But not everybody's got 45 minutes to make chai in the morning. Well, Raj is frozen because he's outside walking around.
Like, I don't know. Oh, hang on.
We were talking about Interstellar. It's literally like we're watching him explore a new planet.
Am I back? Am I back now?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, dude, I just got real upset. I was like, I gotta walk this chai heat off. You know, otherwise I'm gonna go curse out a Starbucks barista about this and just tell her I need to write a message to corporate. Which is ironically like the whitest thing I could do is go complain. You know, Indian people, in India, you never send food back to the kitchen. If you don't like it, you just don't go back there. It's never like, it's rude to be like, this sucks. You're just like, oh yeah, no, it was great. And then you never go back there again.
Well, that's how I feel about it here is like, all right, cool. If it sucks, like, then I could have cooked dinner at home. Like, I could have done all of this myself. I could have made chicken fingers at home. But no, I went to somebody else's thing. Like, what are you going to bitch about somebody else doing something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in India, it's just also like, it's considered in poor taste. Like, when I see cooking shows and stuff at first, I was real confused by it. It's like, so wait, you're just gonna sit there and critique? Is your life that good that you could sit there and like nitpick the presentation and how many Michelin stars it has? Just shut the fuck up and eat it. I've been to like a fancy restaurant. I didn't see the appeal. I was like, this shit is not that good. It's mostly marketing, and we're paying to say we came here.
It's the same.
That's
steak.
my big thing.
Yeah,
that's my thing
whatever.
lately is watching cooking shows and getting mad at like, because like when people are like chefs or whatever, and I worked in kitchens before, and you're like, you're just good at cooking, like you're good at following directions. It's not a real skill. Like it's the one job that like ex-cons can get into, people who failed at being tattoo artists. Like it is like the job that anybody can get, and like they take so much credit for just being good at cooking, and I hate it.
But the thing is, I mean, I think it's a job a lot of people can get, but it's not a job a lot of people can do well. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Have you ever tried to serve dinner to 4 people at once?
Yeah, it sucks, but like it's like running your own restaurant. Like you just have to be good at the business side of it. Like in America, the best restaurants are the most bullshit food. Like there's a Chili's in every town, and it sucks. Like it can't, like it's not good food. You don't even have to be good. Like you said, it's marketing and it's business. Like all you have to do is like have some fun. Like Anne Burrell is on TV because she's like got short blonde hair and like is just a big personality. I doubt her food's any better than fucking, I don't know, Bullwinkle's downtown.
Dude, you guys both get real heated about the weirdest shit.
It's because, I think it's because Ray and I both see how the cogs of this machine that is America is like, they're kind of warped, you know?
I get it, but like, if I get like, I see the restaurant and I'm like, I'm not going to go there. That's it. And then the chai thing, I've never had chai, ever.
Well, that's why you wouldn't get it. You probably went to Starbucks and drank some dumb shit made by some asshole in the back that came out of like it was like a powdered mix with water.
I get a black coffee. That's it.
The reason I get mad about it is like, okay, so if I look at myself in the citizenship process, it's hard for me to like own a business. So if I wanted to launch a chai business tomorrow, couldn't do it. The closest I can get is to invest in a chai business run by like Indian Americans, which I have done, right? There's a spot on 3rd Street in New York, and I give them a tiny bit of money. And I'm one of like a bunch of investors just because I believe in what they're doing. But what pisses me off is like, it's so hard for us to get any kind of acceptance, right? Even culturally, when you grow up as an Indian kid, Indian culture is constantly mocked, right? So like your food is made fun of because it smells real strong. Like everything about your childhood that was like so alien and weird is now in the hands of the same kids that made fun of you growing up, that love it so much and post about all that shit on Instagram all the time. And it's like, you guys are a bunch of dumb assholes. Like, let's point at like some of the things you felt. And granted, look, people change and shit. But the biggest misconception and the box that I hate that Indians are starting to end up in more and more is of this land of like mysticism and a place where you go to feel forgiven and just take a deep healing breath. It's like, shut the fuck up, okay? The world is geared to your advantage. We speak English because you can't speak any fucking thing else. So instead of taking your fucking healing breaths, how about you learn some Hindi and give me like a share in your business? That would help a lot. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of people just like, you just need to soothe yourself. From what?
I just want to know, like, where did it?
I think this is directed at me.
Oh, like,
no, it's not directed. It's not directed at anybody in general. I just, and I understand that everybody's going through something, and that I have life good on very many levels. But to masquerade around like you know anything about Indian culture, or even yoga, when you say namaste at the end, is the namaste means Indians use it as welcome. That's how we use the word namaste.
Yeah,
it's like, hey,
it's my favorite thing that I do in my like dumb yogatation bullshit posts, like because I'm like big into like the spiritual bullshit right now. And so like that's why I'm saying it's like
you are actually a spiritual person. That's the difference. Like as a stand-up comic, I know that you've lived in the belly of some seedy places for sure, versus some of these folks that have like $300 Lululemon tights on, and they're like, Jeff, it's just about feeling whole.
But like that's something that I post.
We get
like
paid in
the white
sticks. Do you understand how hard this is?
Yeah, the white women at the end of all of my yogas, like when they'll be like namaste or like try to speak Sanskrit, it's I'll laugh like mid meditation because they're like trying to speak Sanskrit or like sing it, and I'm like, this is a lot. Like, and it's my favorite. Like, because it's funny and it like helps me like, because like with anything like there's woo woo bullshit involved. Like especially like let's bring it back to like Catholicism or like Lutheran, like which is what I grew up. And you're like, yo, this is all nonsense that you just ripped from somebody else, and like you're just like dive headfirst into it, and you're like, I'm gonna make this better by trying to make it like in like they're trying to be like I'm honoring the culture, but then you're just almost mocking it by trying too hard.
That's what I was impressed. I was like, you think that all started because somebody was like, oh, like I like this, I want to try and make it a thing, or because somebody was like, I think we can make money in this. You're trying to
it's the second, right? It's like, oh, you just think America suddenly became spiritual, or a bunch of idiots noticed that there was money to be made in yoga, and suddenly all of them pretended to have some kind of deep meaning that they'd found to their lives. If you truly understood Indian culture, if you traveled to my country, you would notice that most Indian children, by the way, don't practice yoga. We play cricket. So if you're really into that shit, like that's what we do. Yeah. And the second thing is that in a country of 1.5 billion people, 1/3 of us are starving. Like most of us, like a big chunk of us live under the poverty line, and it's abject poverty. It's not like we're just spiritually lost. It's that we're physically starving. So if you really are into like Indian culture and what that involves, then you would be giving us a fucking share of this business, because that's really what we're about. Indians are not about like, just be free. We're a country that has literally only been independent since 1947. A vast chunk of us living under $1 a day.
That's the most American thing to say.
What?
Just be free.
Well, but before that, they were like, the British ruled India for like 200 something years, and before them, the Mughals had it for like 600 years. So, yeah, it's a country that's been free since 47, and most people in India do not have the time to find themselves spiritually. It's just not evident. That's why we're in America. Like, we just need to show up, make enough money to actually retire in peace, and elevate ourselves past it. So I don't know. I understand the hypocrisy, right? Like there are pasta joints in India where we doctor the shit out of it, throw hot sauce in it, and fuck it up all kinds of ways. But the thing that is different is that if Italians want to open a business in India, it's a lot easier. Like if you want to fly to India tomorrow as an American, you can literally purchase your visa when you land. For me to fly into America the other way around, dude, I mean, they have all 10 of my fingerprints, a picture of my face. And if you look at my passports over the years and my licenses, there's steadily less hair and me looking more and more pissed off with each attempt to negotiate with this process.
It's also really funny to me that you said they had all 10 of your fingerprints, like they were going to get just 9 and that'd be good enough.
I mean, I would have thought like
on the last one.
I was just like, you need my left hand and my right. What do you think is going to happen here? You know? Yeah.
All right. They have so we're almost an hour and a half in. We try to keep it a little bit like this has been awesome because we learned a lot about India. I also learned that I'm going to run a shell corporation for Raj's chai company. So we can do that. I'll give you like 90% of the money. I'll just take the 10% for like money laundering.
Yeah, the only problem is it's gonna be called Who is Ray Roberts Chai.
Yeah, that's how you bury the lead. Like it's a 10% charge for using my name and likeness. That's what I'm charging him for.
You're just like
the three of us look like it looks like when I look at these pains, it looks like we start at me, we become Ray, and then finally we become Joe. Does that make sense? We all have the same facial hair, kind of. No, I'm just imagining this.
No, you
Yeah,
guys do. I
it's
have a
all right.
mustache.
This
Yeah,
is
well,
what Joe's
whatever.
gonna age into. Like, cause I'm just about to turn 31. You're older than me, right, Raj?
No, I'm 30.
Oh fuck. Well, I'm
Most people
30
think I'm
right
like
now.
35, dude. Between the beard
Yeah.
and being bald, like most people think I'm a lot older than I am.
I thought you were like 28, 29. I thought you were around like the same as me.
Are you 28? How old are you?
I'm 28.
No, yeah, I'm 30, man. Old. You know,
I'm
I found
31 next
grazing
Tuesday.
in my beard.
Not this Tuesday, but the Tuesday after. 31 coming up. Second quarantine birthday. Holla. It's fine. I got COVID like 2 weeks after my birthday last year, so that's all right. All right. What
Some
do you have to
presents are late.
promote other than your backyard and our new chai company?
Oh yeah, no, well yeah. If you want chai, go to it's called Kolkata Chai, so it's KOLKATA Chai Co. That's the Instagram handle, and they'll like ship you the most authentic chai you could ever imagine in like a bag. Other than that, man, I'll be in Cleveland, April 10th. Just hanging out, doing
Yeah, let me know.
things, seeing people. What else? I do 2 dates in Denver on the 2nd and 3rd with Sam
Oh, sweet.
Talent. So I don't even know if this will be out by then, but that should be fun.
American
Denver
author, best-selling author Sam Talent.
That's right. Yeah, Denver Comedy Lounge is. I'll be there with Sam. I saw Doug Stanhope gave Rogan a copy of his book like a day or two ago. So I don't know. I hope that results in even more sales for him. Why? I'm just promoting other people's shit.
I bought it before it was on Rogan.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much it. That's it. That's my life is this. It's growing radishes. Gotta find a way to kill these fucking rabbits. Like I'm Indian vegetarian, but you know how hard it is to grow arugula? It takes 6 months. And these bastards came in overnight, fucked the entire thing up. So that's it.
I really appreciate that you're like, yeah, let the weeds grow, but kill the rabbits.
If the rabbits ate the weeds, I wouldn't have a problem. They're eating like the things I want to eat.
Joe Briggs. Oh wait, hold on, pause. What happened to that TV show that we were writing for like 15 minutes? Is that gonna happen?
I still want to film it. Yeah, that's part of the reason I'm coming up to Cleveland. So I want to put some finishing touches and talk to the guys that I was trying to produce it with last year. One of them has like immunocompromised family, and that's what put the whole production on hold. But it looks like you guys are shooting some things. So if you know a crew that is up and running and shooting things, then I'm happy to talk to them as well. I'm assuming it's our same gang of friends that do comedy.
All right, Joe Briggs, what do you got to promote this week?
Next Winchester show is April 16th, and that's pretty much it. Also, go to Great Clips. We didn't do an advertisement for Great Clips yet.
Yeah, we didn't do any advertisement. But Great Clips is the official, unofficial sponsor of our podcast. So go to them.
You want a haircut and also don't want a haircut, go to Great Clips.
If you want a haircut, but
my head and my balls.
And that's the ball clip is where they earn the great. Like Raj walks in and he's like, "You say great, you're gonna earn great today."
Dude, I know we're over on time, but super quick. There's a story about this, like this. I think she's a Polish girl back in the 40s when the Nazis like ran Poland. That she would go like to this bar and dance with German soldiers, then lure them into the woods and kill them and bury them. Do you know this story?
Yeah.
So there's like a similar thing. There's this lady here. So I decided there came a point where it was time to wax my back. So I went in to see this lady. She's been drinking already, and like she gives me shots for the pain, but then she's also taking them. So as she's waxing my back, she's like, this wax place is behind a bar called Bentley's. It's like a dive bar. And she's like, yeah, sometimes. I was like, do customers ever come over from the bar? And she's like, yeah, but the business is usually closed, but I run it. So I'm like usually drinking out there. And then next thing you know, like I'm talking to a guy and I bring him back here. I'm like, okay. And then she's like, yeah. And then I wax them, charge them, and send them back to the bar. I just think it's fucking hilarious. Because like, imagine you think things are going to get hot and heavy. You go back to this girl's house and instead she's now waxing your entire body clean. And then, yeah, she puts them back in there smooth like it never happened.
That sounds
So
terrifying to me.
that reminded me of that girl that lures men into the woods.
I think that's going to be our, like, you need to find out the name of this place so that can be our sponsor. Because I am
Clips.
all for
Fucking Great Clips. It's always Great Clips.
I got, it's definitely.
What are you talking about? It's Great Clips, man.
It's like subpar wax.
subpar wax. You should talk to her, like making subpar wax and chai. I think you found your business partner down there.
Dude, she was drunk when I walked in, and the lady that walked out before me was like wobbly, and this chick follows her out. She wipes her head and she's like, "All right, you next." And I was like, "All right." She was hammered, and I walked in there, and she gives me like 2 shots, quote unquote, for the pain, and she was drinking them. And I was like, "What kind of pain are you going through that you're drinking this much?" And she's like, "I got to work here," and I was like, "This is gonna be fun."
Dude, yours is for the physical pain. Hers is all emotional, baby.
She waxed my entire back, and then she stopped and she goes, "Uh-oh." I'm like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "It looks like a picture frame." I was like, "What do you mean?" She holds up a mirror, and it looked like there was literally a blank rectangle on my back, because I guess Indians are so fucking hairy. I got hair on my ribs. And she's like, "I'll just feather it in." And I'm like, "With what? Like Band-Aids?" Like, she's like, she pulled out a pair of clippers, and she's like, "I can fade you up, bro."
Sweet fade, man.
Yeah, so she faded my ribs. That's what happened.
Hey, so shout out to that lady. I'm back in Cleveland. Back in Cleveland this weekend. Hilarities Thursday through Sunday, 7:00, Sultan Kansas. Buy tickets, because that'd be cool. Also, Pete Wentz looked at my. I hope Pete Wentz is having a good day. And I got shouted out on the Hilarities Instagram. So this is about as good of a week as I've had on the internet. I can't get much better.
Congrats on playing Hilarities. That's awesome.
Yeah, sometimes you got to do the backdoor way of like meeting actually successful people instead of hanging out at a spot for 6 years. So sometimes you got to do that. But all right, anything else? Because usually when I hit end, we all have each other's phone numbers. We all talk decently
I don't
regularly.
have your phone number.
Huh?
We've made it a point to not get each other's phone numbers. I have Raj's phone number. I don't have your phone.
Yeah, I have Raj's phone number, but I don't have Joe's, and I talk to you every day on Instagram.
I'll text you.
All right. Well, anything else that we need to go over? If not, we can hit end, and then I will post all this shit. Thanks, Raj. This was awesome. I think this was awesome. We learned a lot. We didn't have time for an ad, but that's okay. I think Great Clips will survive. But other than that, everybody have a blessed. Huh?
I said I hope they survive. If they go under, we're fucked.
Well, that lady that waxes Raj is coming straight for
there's
the
always super cuts.
All right. I'll talk to you guys later.
See you guys.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.